If you let people's perception of you dictate your behavior, you will never grow as a person.
Number 10, Malcolm in the Middle.
Okay, we have 12 hours and 8 gallons of gas. This is our radius of destruction.
So much to do, so little time.
The turn of the millennium saw a wave of single-camera sitcoms that were devoid of a laugh track, such as Everybody Hates Chris and Arrested Development. But for many of us who were still children at the time, Malcolm in the Middle was our introduction to the format.
You boys are in so much trouble! You've got to help me on this. I can't believe that you could be so thoughtless! We all screwed up really big this time.
The series follows the eponymous boy and his utterly chaotic family. As kids, we could totally relate to Malcolm's struggles with his siblings and parents, even if the situations were frequently outlandish. Although some of us would now find his parents more relatable, given that we're much older, Malcolm in the Middle still gave us a valuable lesson that while life is often unfair, it can still be incredibly fun. Number 9, Saved by the Bell.
Many beauties are attracted to the helpless, goofy saphead type. That's me.
When we were young, many of us must have dreamt that being a teenager would be much like Saved by the Bell. The NBC sitcom portrayed a picturesque view of high school, but still managed to touch on topical issues that concerned youth at the time.
You know, I should have known better than to go steady with a sexist pig.
Not only that, but the characters were so realistic that they might as well have been kids we knew in our own schools. We most likely had friends who were as charismatic as Zach, as popular as Kelly, as athletic as Slater, or as smart as Jesse. Saved by the Bell gave us an idealized depiction that we can look back on with as much fondness as our real-life educational experiences. Sometimes more so.
I said no sleeping!
Number 8, That 70s Show.
Get off of me! Welcome to the cabin!
You don't need to have grown up during the 70s to find this groovy sitcom nostalgic. That 70s Show revolves around a group of teenage friends coming of age in their small town of Point Place, Wisconsin.
Not a thing to do, but talk to you.
Just like Saved by the Bell, this series wasn't afraid to handle sensitive social issues that were especially common in the 1970s. And it did so with such brilliant humor. Also, like many of us in our adolescence, the teens of the show went through many passionate experiences for the first time, in a way that felt true to life. With nostalgic music and fashion to boot, That 70s Show will certainly never go out of style. Number 7, The Simpsons.
So you want a realistic, down-to-earth show that's completely off the wall and swarming with magic robots.
That's right.
We generally like to keep our animated and live-action lists separate, but come on, everyone watched The Simpsons as a child. For many, the series was a great gateway sitcom as we transitioned from kids to adolescents.
Seems like animated shows are everywhere. Or were last year.
Cool, Japanimation.
Sure, there's adult humor that probably flew over our heads at first, but the fact that it's a cartoon made it a bit more acceptable to watch when we were younger. The sharp satire of pop culture and its literally colorful cast of characters has embedded The Simpsons in the hearts and minds of children of all ages for decades.
Oh, there are pictures. I keep them where I need the most cheering up.
It inspired other beloved animated series and has helped shape the way a lot of us view comedy today. Number 6, Boy Meets World.
Without the truth, you got nothing. And without your jacket, well, you're just cold.
Boy Meets World aired at a time when many of us were meeting the world for the first time too, and you didn't need to be a boy to appreciate it. The show delivered life lessons in a way that was informative, relatable, and often funny all at once.
You see my outer appearance, and you conclude that I'm cautious and unadventurous.
Like lime jello.
All right.
As Corey Matthews matured over the course of 7 seasons, so did we, with experiences that were very similar to his. It's no surprise that Boy Meets World was a particular draw for teenage audiences, consistently hitting high numbers within that demographic. With the sequel series Girl Meets World airing years later, it was a great opportunity to catch up with the folks who had grown up alongside us. Number 5, Full House. As far as sitcoms go, Full House wasn't necessarily the funniest or the most popular.
Hey, are we gonna have fun or what?
However, one likely reason why it still maintained moderately high ratings was that it felt like the TV equivalent of Coming Home. A show about 3 men raising 3 young girls sure was a breath of fresh air, considering the stream of family sitcoms in that era.
Okay. Tippy toes, right.
You need practice. We'll do this every day.
And since the Tanners weren't exactly the traditional nuclear clan, the show also served as great representation for unconventional families everywhere. The girls were relatable for us kids, and Danny, Jesse, and Joey were all alternately wholesome, dreamy, and funny.
Hi, Michelle. It's me, Kermit the Frog. You don't want to cry, do ya?
Full House was full of love, and to this day, we still cherish every minute of it. Number 4, Family Matters. Speaking of the TGIF lineup, Family Matters is another sitcom that had us glad it was Friday. The Winslows, who were at the center of the show, had realistic problems and tackled them in profound ways.
Exciting and sometimes rewarding jobs, but you need to understand that there are real risks involved here.
But just as important as the Chicago family, perhaps even more, was Steve Urkel. Whether you loved him or found him annoying, or weirdly both, Urkel was the adorkable nerd we needed to see growing up.
I should fire you, Urkel, but I'm in a good mood, so I'm gonna cut you some slack.
Thank you. I love slack.
Even though he was initially a guest character, he quickly took center stage for his eccentric personality and relentless confidence. As kids, we often feel pressure to fit in, but Urkel showed us all how cool it can be to be unabashedly yourself.
Bend your knees and stick out your pelvis. I'm telling you, baby, it's better than Elvis.
Number 3, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Sure, I'm glad we don't have anything to hide. Will?
Hey, look, I found that Chevette. Body was already in the trunk, too.
If there's one thing every kid during the 90s knew, it was that Will Smith was the coolest human on the face of the earth. And while his unrivaled charisma drew us all in, the rest of the cast were spectacular too. Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv were great parental figures. Jeffrey had all the best lines, and Carlton was the lovable snob with a dance we all imitated, whether you'll admit it or not.
It's not unusual to be loved. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone.
While it was a genuinely hilarious comedy, Fresh Prince also managed to tug at our heartstrings and dealt with real issues in a remarkable manner unmatched by most other sitcoms. Oh, and we all know the theme by heart, right?
I got in one little fight and my mom got scared and said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in BelAir."
Number 2, The Golden Girls.
Hey, I think we'd get along great. I got a feeling you're a wild woman. Oh, you bet I am.
It may have been focused on 4 older women, but The Golden Girls was still influential to us as children. It gave us a glimpse at what life could look like later, while also dealing with sensitive subjects that are still relevant today. In fact, for many of us, it was the first place we even encountered some of those topics. Plus, all 4 leading ladies were absolute experts in the subtle and not so subtle art of throwing shade.
I just had a thought.
Congratulations.
And we probably would have liked cheesecake without watching this show, but it certainly didn't hurt. The Golden Girls has aged like fine wine. And unlike Dorothy, just kidding, of course.
Can't you see that the chain accentuates the many folds of that turkey-like neck?
B. Arthur was always a sight for sore eyes. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Gilligan's Island. Generations have been entertained here on Gilligan's Isle.
Weather started getting rough, the tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost.
Married with Children. In a sea of wholesome family sitcoms, this one brought us a dash of realism.
Kids, I think it's time to thank your father for bringing home minimum wage.
Thanks, Dad.
Different strokes. We loved it regardless of what they were talking about.
You talking about Willis? I said, what you talking about, Willis?
Alf. They just don't make sitcoms about alien puppets anymore.
Hey, Dad, what's in the box?
It's a dead cat, B. I'll split it with you.
It's not a dead cat, but I think it is something that you and Brian will enjoy.
Is it the remains of the Elephant Man?
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. If only our school lives were this magical.
That is the lamest costume I've ever seen.
It's just a pair of glasses.
There's no fooling you. Well, if you can do better, be my guest.
There. Much better.
What did you do?
Number 1, Friends. Was there ever any doubt? Friends is the ultimate comfort sitcom.
Maybe, honey, want to get some breakfast?
Yeah, okay. Okay, let's race. First one there wins.
The widely beloved NBC sitcom was there with us as we matured from childhood, through adolescence, and into the same phase as the titular 6 young New Yorkers. While the airwaves were populated with family sitcoms, Friends came along and taught us all that sometimes what we need is a chosen family.
Monica, stop throwing it so hard! We're on the same team!
Although the show may have given us some unrealistic expectations about adulthood. You mean we can't just hang out in our giant New York apartment or coffee shop instead of going to work?
That's weird. I don't think my boss likes me either.
I don't think mine likes me either.
Maybe it's a universal thing.
Yeah, or maybe it's because you're all hanging around here at 11:30 on a Wednesday.
Regardless, with its lovable cast of characters and side-splitting humor, Friends became that childhood confidant with whom we're always glad to reconnect.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.